USS Choshin is a U.S. Navy Aegis cruiser built in 2002. It's a tradition in the U.S. Navy to name its vessels after the names of meaningful battlefields. Choshin refers to the Battle of Choshin Reservoir that occurred during the Korean War. It was one of the 3 fiercest winter battles in global history, and a battle recorded as the hardest battle in American history.
기관총으로 그냥 완전히 그냥 수습해서 그냥 베는 거죠. 그래서 끝날 줄 알았죠. 한 10분이면 또 오는 거예요. 그렇게 말씀이죠.
The UN forces were outnumbered 10-1, overwhelmed by a massive human wave attack.
거의 20만 명이 넘고 30만 명에 가깝게 이제 밝혀졌기 때문에 당시 연합군은 굉장히 암울한 분위기였고.
The fierce battle occurred from Changjinho Lake to Hungnam in the harsh winter of 1950, also described as being living hell.
이 배가 아니면 우리는 여기서 죽는다는 그 각오로 탔으니까 정말 결사적으로 정말 죽게 하는 살기를.
But it was also a journey of a miracle.
September, dawn broke off the island of Walby.
The counterattack began around 5 a.m. on September 15th. Warships opened fire off the coast of Incheon, signaling the turning of the tide in this war. The possibility of success was 1 in 5,000. Incheon landing operation was a dangerous gamble everyone opposed. But the operation was a success, and the next goal was recapturing Seoul.
We're going to win, no matter what it takes, we're going to win. We knew that the first key objective for us after Incheon was Seoul. We had to take Seoul.
Meanwhile, China had long predicted the Incheon landing operation. They had continually been warning Kim Il-sung of the possibility. China began to make their move in late September. They began to prepare in earnest for the Korean War. Three days after the Incheon landings, the combined Korean and UN forces advanced without hesitation and hurried to recapture Seoul. At the same time, they cut off the retreat of the North Korean forces.
그 수인 산업도로를 따라서 이제 쭉 진격해가지고서 경부국도를 차단하기 위해서 안양 방면으로 진격해 들어갔습니다. 그래가지고 안양에서 이제 전투를 했죠. 적 일개 대대 한 일개 대대하고 이제 맞붙어 가지고서 이제 거기서 이제 전투가 이루어졌는데 우리가 진격하는 그러한 여세를 몰아가지고 그냥 그대로 그냥 전멸시키고 말았습니다. 그 일개 대대를.
Seoul was recaptured on September 28th. It was in just 90 days. The ceremony commemorating the recapture of the capital was held at the National Assembly building at noon the next day. Meanwhile, an important mission was given to General Ullman, who led the 10th Corps in recapturing Seoul. he was given orders to march north under the premise of no military intervention from the Soviet Union or China. The 10th Corps advanced into the East Sea along the eastern coast of Korea and sea routes. The U.S. 7th Infantry Division was to land in Iwon and the 1st Marine Regiment in Wonsan.
10군단을 다시 동해안 쪽으로 상륙을 시켜서 북한군을 신속하게 처리할 수 있겠다고, 그리고 북한을 신속하게 점령할 수 있을 것이라고 판단을 했기 때문에 10군단을 이제 동해안으로 보내겠다는 구상은 아주 일찌감치부터 하고 있었습니다.
The goal of the UN forces was now to advance to Amnokgang River. Beginning with the 3rd Infantry Division's breakthrough of the 38th parallel, ROK 1st Infantry Division also joined the march. The UN forces judged that it had seized the chance to victory.
Even as far back as the time we were landing in Seoul and the days afterwards, the debate started, and MacArthur felt that the only way we could defeat the Chinese was to North Korean and China was to bomb in north of the Yellow River.
In late October 1950, the Allied forces were sure of their victory and fiercely marched north. They got near to Amnokgang River and Tumen River. Meanwhile, China decided to send troops on account of their close ties with North Korea. They regarded the Allied forces' northward advances as a security threat. They even had a cause. Their leading industrial region, Dongbei region, depended on the electricity generated from Supong Dam on the Amnokgang River. This was regarded as a threat to China, and finally, over 300,000 troops crossed the Amnokgang River. But they soon disappeared. They went underground into the mountainous regions in Pyeongam-do and Hamgyong-do provinces. General Almond and the Allied forces became more confident after capturing Pyongyang. The march north was proceeding faster than they had expected. The new MacArthur Line was set further north from where it was. But this meant the expansion of operational area and new burdens.
평양과 원산 39도 라인이 한반도의 가장 그 정면이 좁은 지역입니다. 그래서 이제 그 점은 8군에서는 이미 염두에 두고 있었는데 그 차후 지역 앞으로 계속 북진을 해갈수록 정면이 넓어지기 때문에 아주 심각하게 고민해서 아주 조심스럽게 작전을 해야 되겠다까지는 염두에 둔 것 같지는 않습니다.
The Chinese forces launched their first offensive in Unsan, Pyeongam-do province around October 25th. It was retaliation against the Allied forces' Thanksgiving offensive the previous day. This is the first time the Allied forces came to know about the Chinese intervention, but the MacArthur command in Tokyo overlooked this fact. The Chinese forces' operation was meticulous and with a long-term aim, even the crossing of the Amnokgang River when the UN forces passed the 38th parallel. Suspicious, General Walker of the 8th U.S. Army had the forces retreat to the south of Chongchongang River and ordered reconnaissance. However, the Chinese only moved quietly at night, so they weren't caught by the reconnaissance planes. The Allied forces also made a tactical mistake during the 10th Corps landing at Wonsan.
서부전선에서 신속하게 밀고 올라갔었어야 되는데 거기에 필요한 게 이제 그 병참 물자들입니다. 근데 인천항 그리고 서해안에서 가장 중요한 인천과 부산에 그 병참 물자를 운송할 수 있는 항구들이 10군단의 상륙작전, 원산 상륙을 위해서 굉장히 많은 부분을 다 할애가 됐습니다. 그러다 보니까 8군 사령부의 진격에 많은 차질이 생겼고 병참 지원에도 문제가 생겼습니다.
General Ullman's plan was for the U.S. 1st Marine Division to secure the beachhead in Wonsan and for the U.S. 7th Infantry Division to follow. The strategy was for them to join the 8th U.S. Army, located north of Pyongyang. However, mines installed in the waters of Wonsan surprisingly frustrated General Ullman's efforts.
지뢰를 갖다가 제거하는데 거진 2주일이 걸렸습니다. 그러니까는 상륙하는 배가 동해에서 왔다 올라갔다 내렸다 한 2주를 하고서 그 다음에 원산에 상륙을 했습니다.
The U.S. 1st Marine Division finally landed in Wonsan on October 26th and completed the operation on the 28th. However, this turned out to be strategically meaningless, because 2 weeks earlier, the ROK Capital Division and ROK 3rd Infantry Division had already taken Wonsan.
의도했던 날짜에 이루어지지 않고 국군이 먼저 장악을 하게 됨에 따라서 원산 상륙 작전 자체가 사실상 무위로 돌아가게 됩니다. 나중에 역사가들은 이를 뭐 행정적 상륙이라고 이제 평가를 하는데.
While the 1st Marine Division was eliminating the mines, the ROK Capital Division and 3rd Infantry Division were already advancing north. Meanwhile, the U.S. 7th Infantry Division landed in Iwon, Hamgyongdo Province on October 29th and marched north to Haesanjin according to MacArthur's new orders. The operation to march north of Wonsan and the advance of the Eastern Front seemed to be going well. But the Allied forces were being lured into a trap by the Chinese troops.
유적 침입은 말 그대로 적이 계속 그 움직이고 있는 적은 깊숙하게 끌어들여서 적을 그 장정을 길게 하겠다는 거죠. 그래서 아군이 유리한 곳까지 깊숙하게 끌어들인 다음에 그리고 아군이 유리하다고 판단되는 상황이 조성이 되면 그때 이제 적을 그 뭐 포위를 하건 혹은 타격을 하건 그래서 고립시켜서 소멸시키겠다는 개념입니다.
On November 21st, the U.S. 7th Infantry under the 10th Corps and ROK 3rd Infantry Division under the 1st Corps arrived in Haesanjin and the Amnokgang River. With the ROK Capital Division under the 1st Corps taking Cheongjin, the end of the war seemed near. However, the Chinese People's Volunteer Army was quietly preparing for its second phase offensive. Despite it all, the MacArthur Command dismissed the Chinese forces and focused on surrounding the Chinese troops in Gyeongbuk-do Province.
이 흥남을 통해 가지고서 이 소위 장진으로 가는 건데요. 장진으로 해가지고서 그 다음에 강계에서 8군하고 연결하게 그런 명령을 받았습니다. 강계거정 전진하라 하는 거죠.
Kanghae was the temporary capital of North Korea at the time. Kim Il-sung and the leaders of the North Korean forces were there. The U.S. troops began to move in earnest. The U.S. 7th Marine Regiment under the 1st Marine Division crossed Hwangchoryong Pass around November 7th and took Hagaruri south of Changjinho Lake on the 16th. There was no serious enemy resistance or battles. They reached Changjinho Lake without much trouble. Finally, on November 24th, the Allied forces were dispatched to the west, east, and south of Changjinho Lake.
일정한 전선이 유지가 돼 있는 게 아니라 항상 전선이 움직이고 있는 상황에서 가장 유리한 상황까지 적을 끌어들이고 그리고 적이 불리한 상황에 처했을 때 그때 이제 타격하는 그런 상황. 그러니까 서부 전선의 8군 사령부하고 동부 전선의 10군단을 분리한 다음에 10군단을 더 깊숙하게 위쪽으로 두만강 쪽으로 끌어들이는 게 바로 유적 침입 개념이라고 저희는 설명할 수 있겠습니다.
The Allied forces ordered the 7th Infantry Division under the 10th Corps to the north of Hyesanjin and the 1st Marine Division to advance toward Kangye. They had unification in mind.
이 싸움을 진짜로 하려고 그러는 게 아니라 너 우리 들어왔다 그러면서 이 유엔군하고 이 조용원하고 유엔군의 전진을 갖다가 오히려 유도했습니다. 유도하고서 결국은 쭉 자기들은 후퇴하고 우린 또 따라가고 이렇게 그런 식으로 해서 올라왔습니다. 황초령에서 장진으로 해가지고서 이 소위 강계까지는 이 양천짝에 13만 명의 중공군이 기다리고 있는 거죠. 그걸 모르고서 그냥 간 거죠.
Launching a major encircling operation toward the Amnokang River, the Allied forces advanced to Yudamni near Changjinho Lake. Until that point, things were going relatively well. However, the weather was turning ominous. Early in November, the temperature dropped to minus 18 degrees Celsius. By late November, the temperature was around minus 30 degrees. The MacArthur Command gave an important order on November 24th. It was the Home by Christmas offensive. It was so named from MacArthur's comment that they would be home by Christmas. The troops were very excited. This plan, that was even made public in the newspaper, was important information to the Chinese forces. The second phase offensive by the Chinese forces began on November 25th on the Western Front and on the 27th on the Eastern Front. The Battle of Choshin Reservoir is the clash of the Allied forces' Home by Christmas offensive and the Chinese forces' second phase offensive.
They did not have air. Did not have air support. And that meant that they were going to have to take heavy casualties if they fought in the daylight. And the best way to fight for them was to fight at night. When they came across, they used the mountains as cover and moved at night. So when they attacked in huge numbers, it was a surprise to us as to how many they had crossed, the many, many divisions.
The Chinese forces came en masse. Their strategy was detailed and their offensive bold. The MacArthur Command finally recognized the true nature of the Chinese army, but by then, cold winter had begun in the Gema Plateau, and it was too late.
I was on a 155 howitzer. We had sent half of the battery to the front lines. When the Chinese hit, they found that their weapons wouldn't fire. They were too cold.
It was an elaborate strategy by the Chinese to launch their second phase offensive when the moon was full. They sought to utilize their inferior weapons and the advantages of the night attack to the fullest. The size of their forces was also 10 times that of the Allied forces on the Eastern Front, numbering 130,000 troops. They weren't to be underestimated.
뭐 그냥 총소리가 나기 시작을 하더니 그냥 뭐 우리 있는 데까지 그냥 막 그냥 중공이 들어와가지고서는 대대본부를 갖다가서 막 그냥 유리를 하는 거예요. 그냥 뭐 눈을 떠보니까 뭐 그냥 중공군이 뭐 그냥 여기저기서 그냥 막 들어와가지고서는 뭐 수류탄 던지고 뭐 그냥 막 그냥 일로 뛰어댕기고 절로 뛰어댕기고 하면서 그냥 전투가 벌어지기 시작을 했죠.
Everywhere, people were raising concerns.
동경에서의 11월 30일 회의는 굉장히 암울했습니다. 처음에는 중국군의 규모가 고작해 한 5만 명 정도라고 판단을 했었는데 당시 이제 그 입수된 정보에 따르면 거의 20만 명이 넘고 30만 명에 가깝게 이제 밝혀졌기 때문에 대규모 어마어마한 강적과 맞섰다. 또 하나는 이제 그 1해병사단과 7사단 일부가 포위가 됐다는 상황입니다. 이제 그걸 어떻게 타개할 것인가의 분위기였기 때문에.
The MacArthur Command held an emergency meeting in Tokyo and ordered a retreat. Securing the retreat route was the key point. The Chinese forces were employing guerrilla tactics, attacking at night and hiding during the day. It was because most of the Allied forces' airstrikes were done during the day.
We had to go out every 4 hours and warm up the airplanes so we could fly at first light in the morning. So the cold weather. Yeah, it's very cold, frozen, always below zero, even at the base.
In the cold winter of the Gema Plateau, where the temperature dropped to minus 40 degrees Celsius, cutting-edge fighter planes and tanks became nothing but scrap metal. The 1950 winter at Changjinho Lake was extremely cold.
그 우리 살던 데 거기는 그 굉장히 추운 데거든요. 성천가이라고 그 황초록 밑에 강줄기가 생겨가지고 바람이 엄청나게 불어요. 약간 바람이 불었다면 사람 날아갈 정도니까.
Changjinho Lake is located on the rough mountainous region of the Gema Plateau, 1,000 meters above sea level. Along with Tunganjin, it is the coldest place in Korea.
We were the last ones to get through from Kodori to Hagaruri. When we arrived in Kodori, I thought we had come into frozen hell.
And that wool scarf, as I would breathe through it, would freeze. And tears would freeze. There were tears.
Their hope to spend Christmas with their families was fading away in the extremely cold weather. They couldn't even cut the clothes off the wounded because they would freeze over right away. The Marines who ate frozen sea rations or drank melted snow suffered from enteritis and diarrhea.
그냥 눈 위에서 자고 뭐 허벌 뻔에 어디 의지할 데가 없는데 짐승이에요. 그냥 미군들이 이런 그 세밀 깎지 못해서 여기 고드름이 막 얼었어요. 이렇게 코에서 고드름이 막 얼었어요. 미군들 이게.
The war was equally painful to everyone. The Chinese forces were also suffering from the cold. They were actually suffering more. At the time of planning, they had to hurry and were unable to prepare for the winter battle.
We found many of their casualties and their prisoners that we took had no ears, no nose, frozen off. Many of the casualties, or most of the casualties of them, had the simple little rubber slippers without any socks even on their feet. So they had to get frozen feet.
They may have outnumbered the Allied forces 10-1, but their cold weather equipment was of poor quality. The injured froze to death right away if left unattended on the snow, and for some people, parts of their bodies were frozen solid from frostbite. General Carey, who was shot in the abdomen but survived thanks to the cartridge belt around his waist, couldn't escape the cold weather.
I've had 4 operations on that foot. And on this toe, I've had 2 itself. Where that toe is, that's supposed to come off.
Although they all faced the same weather conditions, the results were different. The U.S. forces were somewhat prepared for the winter battle, and they minimized their loss of military power through continuous aerial supply. But they still couldn't dispel the fear of the freezing cold.
As they would soak up perspiration, our boots were made out of rubber. And as they perspired, it would soak up a felt intersole, which would freeze. And then that was like walking on ice.
The biggest problem we had as it got colder, you had 2 enemies that you were fighting. You were fighting the cold weather, and then your enemy, the Chinese and North Koreans. And that's where each soldier, each Marine had to take care of themselves.
However, the war was brutal. Even in extreme cold, the battle continued. Taking advantage of their superior numbers, the Chinese forces were swarming the Allied forces.
부대마다 중대단위, 서대단위, 대대단위는 다 흐트러져 있는 걸 그걸 단위별로 다 포위를 한 거예요. 그 전체를 포위한 것이 아니라 일개 중대면 중대가 주둔하고 있으면 그건 그거대로 또 옆에 또 딴 중대는 그건 그거대로 포위를 하고.
While the cold weather and snow blocked them in the front, the Chinese forces were pursuing them in the back. Meanwhile, General MacArthur reported to the Joint Chiefs of Staff that the Allied forces are facing a whole new war and that he's changing the strategy from offensive to defensive. Accordingly, General Almond flew to Hagaruri, designated as the Allied forces' evacuation point, and recommended an aerial evacuation to Major General Smith of the 1st Marine Division.
General Almond, who was in command of all forces in Korea, approached our general, Oliver P. Smith, the 1st Marine Division, and offered to fly out as many Marines as possible and leave the rest to their fate. And General Smith's reply was, "We're coming out as Marines or we're not coming out at all, with our equipment, with our dead, and our wounded."
The Allied forces planned to evacuate from Yudamni to Hagaruri. And then from Kotori to Hungnam. However, Smith didn't regard this as a retreat.
A reporter asked General Smith if that's not the first time the Marines had ever retreated, and he said, some say he said, "Retreat hell, we're just attacking in a different direction." But he explained that when you're surrounded, you don't retreat, you just fight in a different direction.
1st Marine Division facing annihilation was the top news, not just in the military, but also in the American press. At the time, the public sentiment was that rather than everyone dying, those who can live must be evacuated aerially. However, Major General Smith encouraged the soldiers and commanded the evacuation.
사단이 당시 청한 사항은 적에게 포위가 돼서 섬멸될 수 있는 상황이고, 포로가 됐거나 아니면 전사하거나 하는 그런 아주 절치절명의 그 위기에 처한 상황인데, 부대원들의 정신을 독려하고 또 전투 의지를 고취시키기 위해서 사단장이 직접 나서서 연설을 하고, 그러면서 그 모토로 우리는 새로운 방향으로 공격해 가는 것이다. 후퇴란 말은 더 이상 쓰지 마라.
At the time, the retreat route of the Allied forces was surrounded by the Chinese forces, so Smith reasoned that wherever they went, it wasn't a retreat. The retreat route was already surrounded by the 12 divisions under the Chinese 9th Army. they kept a tight hold of the entire area, from Yudamni, northwest of Chongjinho Lake, to Hagaruri at the south end of the lake.
Hill, and every time I would see one go over, I would shoot at him, and the fire was at times very heavy. At the time, I was numb, and there were so many deaths, and I actually hoped I might get hit and not killed.
지옥이었구나. 이게 지옥이구나. 이게 생지옥이구나. 그냥 살려달라고 그러고 말이지. 그냥 숨이 끊어지려고 그냥 죽으려고 그러는 그런 병사들.
Even while the Allied forces were evacuating, the Chinese forces attacked only at night, swarming and utilizing their larger numbers and avoiding the Allied forces' airstrikes.
이 장진호 동쪽에 동안에 있었던 미 7사단 32연대 2개 대대밖에 없었는데 거기 21개 대대가 중공군들이 공격을 합니다. 11대 1로 싸우는 꼴이 됐었습니다. 11.5대 1. 그래가지고 과연 그 적은 병력으로 과연 어떻게 그 공포를 이겨냈을까 그렇게 생각을 합니다.
The remnants of the U.S. 1st Marine Division and the 7th Infantry Division had to travel from the evacuation point in Hagaruri to Hungnam. But it wasn't easy to open the retreat route. They had to suffer the harsh weather and the attacks by the Chinese forces.
That was probably the hardest thing I ever did, was to pick up the frozen bodies that were frozen in the position that they died.
After the night was over, both sides overflowed with casualties. It was the result of the fierce battle that went on the night before. This is what people called a living hell. Life and death coexisted in one space.
I'd fall over and wake up. I got so close that I felt warm all over, and I was at peace. And I think that's how you feel just before you freeze to death.
또 그렇게 하면 얼으면 사람이 정신을 찰 수가 없어요. 그냥 전진한다는 게 뭐냐 앞에 사람 보고서 그냥 가는 거지 무슨 뭐 자기가 걸어온다는 그런 생각이 안 나는 거죠.
On December 7th, the Marines finally reached Kotori. Every moment they spent on the road en route from Hagaruri to Kotori was a nightmare. Although covered by the Marine Corsair fighters, the Chinese troops attacked ceaselessly. And the sounds of their trumpets and gongs were like a requiem that was the background music of the worst battle.
장진호 전투에서 가장 절정에 달하는 상황이었고 실제로 중국군은 거의 마지막 단계라고 판단하고 가장 치열하게 공격을 해온 상태고 가장 많은 사상자가 나왔던 전투라고도 평가할 수 있겠습니다.
The last hurdle was the Hwangchoryong Pass, the hill that connects Changjin and Hamhung. They had to cross the pass, breaking out through the ambushes and surprise attacks by the Chinese troops. However, they also faced the biggest crisis there. The Chinese troops had destroyed the only bridge at the top of the pass.
I decided that the only way to get out was to airdrop a bridge from the air in parts, reassemble it inside the perimeter, have the Marines push that bridge, assembled bridge across.
The only solution was to build a bridge. To do that, they needed a pontoon bridge. However, they were up in the highlands, 1,200 meters above sea level.
Very, very poor weather. Clouds right down to the ground. The weather was freezing. It was snowing. No visibility. So it looked impossible to drop the Treadway Bridge, which was the key to our capability, our success at that time. That, what I personally did and what many people did is we prayed.
Everything was now up to God. Suddenly, a miracle occurred amidst the Stygian darkness.
That night, the sky opened up at one point, right over Coterie, right where we were supposed to drop the bridge. And there was one star, a single star, very bright, very visible, and that shone. That signified to us that we were going to get our bridge and we were going to make it out with the air support.
Portable bridge sections were dropped by parachutes, and the engineering battalion quickly assembled the bridge. All the evacuating troops and over 1,200 vehicles safely crossed the restored bridge over the next 2 days. The Marines finally broke through the siege of the Chinese forces. Although some Chinese troops attempted ambushes, the U.S. and ROK armed forces stationed in Hamhung quickly came to the rescue, covering the retreating Marines. The return from the deadly battle. They reached Hungnam on December 11, 1950. Thanks to them, the Chinese forces' military offensive was delayed.
동부전선에 투입된 구병단이 만약에 장진호 전투에서 미군을 아주 손쉽게 제압을 하거나 그리고 그 큰 타격을 입지 않았더라면 51년 전황에서 아주 큰 지대한 영향을 미쳤을 가능성이 많습니다. 구병단이 장진호 전투에서 심대한 타격을 입었기 때문에 그 4월 공세까지 사실상 전선의 모습을 드러내지 못합니다.
On December 11th, when the U.S. 1st Marine Division almost arrived in Hungnam, General MacArthur canceled the plan to build strong bridgeheads in Hamhung and Hungnam. It meant a total withdrawal on the Eastern Front. When the refugees heard the news, they followed after the retreating Allied forces.
거기서 우리 함흥까지 걸어 내려오려면 야간에 250야매 될 거예요. 그런데 내 걸어 내려왔으니까 하루 뭐 몇십 리씩 이렇게 걸는 거 여기가 며칠 있다 저기가 며칠 있다 다 그렇게 해가지고.
Although the evacuation of the military forces had begun, something unforeseeable happened. A great number of refugees, almost the size of the evacuating troops, followed. The destination of this procession, walking through the snowstorm, was the Hungnam port. They believed they'd be able to return home in a few days.
피난 간다. 어디 목적지 어디 이것도 못 묻고 그냥 가니까 나 멀리서 보니까 이제 우리 어머니하고 우리 누나 애들 데리고 손잡고 이렇게 이고 그게 마지막이에요. 그게 이제 내가 바라보고 있은 거지. 가는 걸 보이거든. 이렇게 높으니까 사람들 밑에 있어도 저기 걸어가는 게. 그게 지금도 눈에 그게 제일 선하거든요.
이북은 몽땅 그냥 비다시피 했어요. 그 우리 함흥 내려오니까 전부 빈집이지 사람 사는 집은 없어요.
The refugees were another crisis they faced when evacuating from Hungnam. Despite the military enforcing order, endless crowds of refugees flocked to Hungnam port. Searches done on the refugees also strengthened as they neared Hungnam. It was because Hungnam was the last bastion.
뭐 구축함, 순양함, 뭐 또 저 상위경주정이라고 해가지고 앞이 열리는 그 LST 할 거 없이 뭐 그 외에도 뭐 조그만 선백 저 함정들도 많이 있습니다만 아무튼 육안으로 보기엔 꽉 찰 정도로 와 있었어요. 그러니까 안심은 되더라고요. 아, 우리는 철수를 할 수 있겠구나.
The U.S. Armed Forces, which had established the final line of defense in Hungnam, strengthened its vigilance against the Chinese forces. In the sea, 13 ships, including the USS Missouri and carrier base aircrafts, bombarded and carried out air raids against the Chinese forces' encampment and assembly areas day and night.
포격도 왜 계속하는 게 아니고 뭐 한 30분이고 1시간이고 포격이 중단되는 경우가 있단 말이에요. 불안해지는 거예요. 이게 무슨 일이 있는가 하고 이게 또 포격이 이루어지면 안심이 되고.
The Allied forces, just about to evacuate Hungnam, had established a defense line around Hungnam on the east coast of North Korea. The perimeter gradually reduced while they were loading the troops and supplies. Tension filled the air. Meanwhile, battleships were arriving at Hungnam port. However, the ships were there to carry the evacuating troops and their supplies. The perimeter outside Hungnam slowly reduced, and Hungnam port was in chaos, flooded by evacuating troops and refugees. Initially, the transportation of refugees was not in the U.S. forces' evacuation plan. The refugees were a variable that the Allied forces failed to foresee. When over 100,000 refugees flooded Hungnam port, General Kim Baek-gil of ROK 1st Corps stood up for them. He persuaded General Almond and contributed much in the evacuation of the refugees.
김백일 장군이 아주 호소를 했어요. 이 사람들 어떨 거냐. 우리가 여기 진지할 때 모두 태극기를 들고 나와서 환영하고 그러고 우리가 있는 동안에 그냥 모든 협력을 아끼지 않던 사람들인데 인민군들이 오면은 이 사람들 다 죽는다.
There was another who contributed to the evacuation of the refugees. It is Dr. Hyun Bong-ak, who was a civil affairs advisor to the U.S. 10th Corps at the time. He asked Colonel Forney, the deputy chief of staff for the 10th Corps, to determine available space on ships for the refugees.
When I arrived in 1998 here in Seoul, I was at the President's Hotel, and a gentleman came to the lobby looking for me, and that person was Dr. Hyun.
Dr. Hyun and Colonel Forney persuaded the command together. Thanks to their efforts, the evacuation of over 100,000 refugees succeeded like a miracle.
Colonel Forney and Dr. Hyun would go together and talk to General Almond, because initially General Almond said the refugees can't go on the ships. There's not enough room. So when they talked to General Almond about the third time, then he agreed that he would try to let the refugees go on the ships.
There is an evacuation that compares to Hungnam evacuation. It is the Dunkirk evacuation in World War II. However, there is one decisive factor that the Dunkirk evacuation cannot compare to the Hungnam evacuation. The Allied forces did not evacuate the civilians who wholeheartedly helped the evacuation of the Allied forces. The Hungnam evacuation was different. There were 100,000 troops to evacuate, as well as various supplies in a wartime situation. Despite it all, they even transported civilians. The evacuation began. The first group to move out was the U.S. 1st Marine Division, who were hit the most.
흥남에 우리가 이틀인가 있었어요. 그 거기서 미군들이 그 밥을 해다 주고 말이야. 이렇게 그 주먹밥 얻어먹고.
Their fates were now tied. Despite the control, the refugees surged to Hungnam port. Although it was freezing cold, they were gathering at the port blindly. They had no guarantee of the future.
오늘 또 이제 소문이 나는 거예요. 배 탄다 그러면은 사정없이 뭐 일어나가지고 막 뱃머리를 뛰는 거예요. 부둣가로.
그런데 흥남에서 배 탈 때는 진짜 그거는 완전히 전쟁이야.
It was the same when they evacuated from the Western Front in Pyongyang. These people were regular people who feared and hated the tyranny of the communist regime. They wished to go south in search of freedom. Over 100,000 refugees boarded the ships to do so.
배 타는데도 사람이 얼마나 많은지 사람 위에 사람이 서고 사람 위에 사람이 서고 먼저 타겠다고.
While the evacuation was going on, the U.S. forces were carrying out their last operation. It was done to prevent the supplies and weapons that were unloaded to transport the refugees from falling into enemy hands.
그날 굉장히 추웠는데 흥남역이 그죠? 역 부근에 갔을 때 굉장한 불이 불바다가 있었어요. 그 철수 작전이니까 전부 다 이제 불 태우는 그게였겠는데 흥남 시내가 뜨끈뜨끈했어요. 그 전쟁이라는 게 이건 굉장히 참혹한.
On the last day scheduled for the Hungnam evacuation, there were no more ships going south. However, Hungnam port still overflowed with refugees. Actually, the number of refugees was growing. Suddenly, a ship showed up on the coast of Hungnam. It was the SS Meredith Victory, a cargo freighter, and the last ship the refugees could board.
화물선이었어요. 그렇죠. 그 인천까지 왔다가 흥남에서 철수 작전이 이루어진다는 소식을 듣고서 또 흥남에 또 군 보급 물자도 싣고 가야 된 거니까 부산에 들렸다가 흥남으로 왔다고 그래요.
큰 배에 오르는 게 그게 우리들의 원이었죠. 이걸 못하면 어전 여기서 죽는다는 각오.
Finally, the voyage of life began.
힘이 붙여서 떨어지는 바닷물로 떨어지는 사람으로 애를 업고서 그냥 뒤에다 업고서 그냥 올라가더니 안 하더니 애가 그냥 그 포대기라고 합니다만 거기서 그냥 빠지는 경우군요. 그 참 이루 말할 수 없는 그 슬픈 전경들이었죠.
The recent movie Ode to My Father was made based on the testimonies from those times. There is something we must keep in mind. It was probably difficult to perfectly portray the reality in the movie.
이거가 지금 가는 여행가?
지금도 잊혀지지가 않아요. 그렇게 그냥 그 어려운 철수 작전을 했던 거죠. 날씨는 또 오죽 추우니까 뭐 여기도 영하 뭐 10몇 도까지 내려가는데 거기는 뭐 영하 25도 뭐 20도 내려가면 따뜻한 날이에요. 그냥 파도가 배머리에 치고 그런 게 그 파도가 얼 정도로 추우니까요.
Finally, SS Meredith Victory left Hungnam Port on December 23rd. The U.S. Navy underwater demolition team blew up the facilities around Hungnam Port and military supplies and ended the operation. The SS Meredith Victory carried over 14,000 people, including the wounded and pregnant women. The whole ship was filled with refugees even on the deck and in the cargo hold, without a space to spare. In the Hungnam evacuation, over 100,000 soldiers and over 100,000 civilians were transported south on 193 battleships and cargo freighters. The SS Meredith Victory was the only witness to see the voyage of life in its entirety that day.
애기는 내 배 위에 앉아가지고 젖을 먹은 게 없어 젖이 나옵니까? 그 젖을 빠는데 거기서 그냥 그 누운 자리에서 애기는 먹은 게 없으니 대변도 소변도 만지 놓지는 않아. 그냥 며칠 동안 그냥 여기다 싸는 거예요.
The last transport ship, the SS Meredith Victory, decorated the end of the Hungnam evacuation. This ship gifted us with a special present called the Christmas Miracle. It arrived on Gojedo Island, its final destination, on December 25th. But before it arrived on the island, 5 new lives were born on the ship.
전쟁 중에서 가장 중요한 거는 전쟁 중에 꽃피운 인류애라고 하지 않습니까? 그거를 상징할 수 있는 얘기 때문에 저는 흥남철수라고 부르지 않고 흥남 생명 구출 작전이다. 이렇게 제가 부르거든요. 그래서 사람을 구출을 했다는 그 전쟁의 와중에서 많은 군수물자를 포기하고 전쟁의 와중에서도 사람을 구출했다는데 가장 큰 의미를 두고 있습니다.
The Battle of Choshin Reservoir occurred from November 27th to December 11th in 1950. It was an unprecedented success of a retreat mission, in which troops broke through a deep gorge on a rugged mountain range. The success of this operation consequently led to the delay of the Chinese forces' spring offensive in 1951 and the advance of the Hungnam evacuation. Furthermore, the troops that were evacuated were deployed back into the line and contributed in recovering the military demarcation line we have today.
No, I'm very proud that I participated. I'm proud of the legacy that we left. When a Marine goes into, someone joins the Marines today, they're taught the legacy of the Chosin Reservoir.
The Battle of Choshin Reservoir was recorded as the most ferocious battle in the history of the U.S. Marines, but it was also the best tactical success, and the evacuation from Changjinho Lake to Hungnam was a miraculous journey.
한평생 이렇게 어머니는 시어머니는 이미 전 돌아가셨지만 딸이 6살짜리 지금으로는 70 됐네요. 그때를 생각하면 지금도 하나님께 기도.
It was a miracle no matter what. It was a miracle that the SS Meredith Victory safely landed on the land of freedom after suffering the cold wind and waves for 3 days. The huge number of refugees who disembarked from the ship settled on Gojedo Island. Among them, countless people who had to part with beloved family members still miss their families to this day.